Okay, gang, this is Andy over Falco, and this is video blog number 004. We've had a busy couple weeks, so I'm trying to stick to my plan to have these up every week or so, or maybe more often, to give you some updates on some training or some things that might be causing you some concern. Now, it's been busy, and so I think we're right about that week because we have a police dog academy coming up, detection dog academy. We have a new basic class starting. I think it's this Saturday or next Saturday, and you know, it's just there's a lot of opportunity that we're going to have to be able to videotape and get these things out to you. Don't worry, you're not going to have to see me all the time. We do still have Danica as our host to do the video monthly newsletter, so those things still will be taking place. But in this particular video, I want to talk about dog aggression, and that comes into play whether you're a pet dog, detection dog, or police dog handler. And it comes up. It's been coming up, you know, a lot, and that's probably the thing we're most well known for, and that's dealing with dog aggression. Because of our police dog background and some other stuff that we've done in the past. And the most common reason why dogs become aggressive is because they feel threatened, right? And so we want to make sure that you somehow get through to your dog's head that he does not need to be threatened or feel threatened when he's with you. That comes in the form of leadership. You have to make sure the dog understands that you are in charge of every situation that dog comes in contact with, whether it's in your home, in your backyard, or on a walk, or doing your job as a detection dog. And so how do we start doing that? Well, the one thing is you got to make sure and attack the issue of the dog feeling threatened by another dog. Now, you have to be very careful about this, and there's a couple things you can do. In many cases, your guys are kind of behind the eight ball because the aggression has already started, and in many cases, you exacerbate the problem because now when you're on your walk and you know your dog's propensity to become aggressive is when he sees another dog and you see another dog coming, you begin to tighten down on the leash with your hand, or you wrap it around your hand like this, or you start to pull back, or you start to plant your feet because you know your dog's going to lunge forward. The problem with doing that, and I'm not blaming you for doing that because it is probably the best thing for you to do in many cases, but the problem with doing that is that the signal you're giving to the dog is that you're concerned about that dog coming. And that's why it gets worse and worse and worse, because you become to get more sensitive to what is about to happen as a dog starts to approach. Your fear that the dog may break away, get away from you, and bite that dog is heightened every time it happens. So that's why the dog becomes aggressive sooner, and the aggression becomes stronger. The growling, the snarling, the pull begins to get worse because of all that activity, all that stuff that's happening. So the first thing is you got to learn and come to the realization that you need to stop signaling to the dog that you're worried. In some cases, you may need to change collars. So the worst thing you do is put the dog on a harness, and oftentimes that's what I see because the people say, well, I'm tired of seeing the dog choke or gag or whatever the case is, so I went to a harness to make sure the dog didn't hurt himself. The problem is that that's causing even more of a problem. You stay on a pinch or on a you stay on a flat collar, and again, that's not going to give you the oomph that you need. Now, a trained trainer like myself or somebody else that works here, we seem to be able to do fairly well with most dogs on just a flat collar. So that becomes with technique. So how do we give you the technique? Well, some people are very hesitant to go to the choke chain like this, or the pinch collar. Ooh, the evil pinch collar. Most people, in the beginning are saying no, they don't want to do that. As a matter of fact, we rarely get this out on our first 1 or 2 days of basic class. This is something we go to in weeks down the road. It's actually backwards. It actually needs to be like this so you can see it, right? But let's talk about a few of these things. What these things do, whether it's the choke chain or the pinch collar or even electronic collar, and again, that's evil in some people's minds, but if you use it right, it's actually a more humane tool than the flat collar. But just to talk about the correction, what these things do is if you've been on a harness or been on a flat collar and it's just not working for you, this will give you a little bit more oomph when you're trying to tell the dog not to do something. And so you'll need to possibly go to one of these things. Now, if we've recommended a pinch collar or a choke chain, we've gone through the steps to teach you how to put them on properly, because there is a right way for the choke chain to be on the dog. There is also a correct way for the pinch collar to be on. In most cases, you see pinch collars being worn on the dog like this and they're moving around. That is not the way the pinch collar is supposed to be worn. It is supposed to be high and snug so that it can do the job with minimal effort. Again, the key is to be able to correct the dog with minimal effort and minimal setup. Setup being planting your feet and getting your arms ready and getting ready to give that dog that correction. That is not the proper way of doing it. You should be almost effortless in your correction. Your timing needs to be better. Your timing needs to get to the point where you can read the dog's mind. So if you're about to even just tell the dog no, you need to do it when the dog is thinking about it, not when he's already acted and lunged and is growling and barking. You're almost too late. Now you can correct for whatever he's doing, but it would be so much better for both you and the dog, and more fair to the dog, if you can get the dog, give the dog a correction when he's actually pondering whether he needs to lunge and growl and protect you and himself from this evil dog that's approaching. So these tools will help you do that. You need to know how to use them properly. So make sure if you need to know how to use one of those things, send me an email, send me a message, and we'll do a video on how to wear these things properly so you use them. So let's assume that I've done that. I've showed you how to use it, how to wear it properly, and that kind of thing. So now you're on your walk. You see a dog. In most cases, there is a distance that is going to be the point of no return. And so you have to know where that is. You don't just wait and say, well, maybe he's going to be good this time. If he's already shown you that within 30 feet he begins to act up, you need to be prepared to tell him no at about 32 to 35 feet. And tell him no, whether it's verbally or with a correction, what he's thinking about. And again, as long as you see that he's looking at the dog, he's giving you all the secondary signals that he's about to lunge and bark and growl. When he's giving you those things, that's when you correct. That's when you tell him no. That's when you give him a leash correction. And now you need to give him something else to do. You need him to heel. Sorry. You need him to look at you. You need him to do something. Perhaps you even need to make him go off to the side of the sidewalk and sit and look at you. But you need something else other than just no. Because no is kind of open-ended. You need to say no instead of considering growling, snarling, barking, attacking. You need to sit and look at me, or you need to down and look at me, or you need to heel and look at me as we go by. In the beginning, you might want to make sure that you go by on the opposite of road rules. In other words, you're going to go on the side of the human being, especially if your dog is heeling on the left-hand side. So you need to go human to human in the beginning until you get really good at reading your dog and knowing that he's has self-control. In that case, you'll come back around, and then you could maybe pass with road rules where the dog is passing on your left, and they actually are dog to dog in that as you're walking by. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of these things that we need you to focus on. Make sure you have the correct equipment, the correct tool to make sure that when you give him a correction, it's actually meaningful. It doesn't have to be painful. You don't have to tear his head off. You don't have to do anything, but the correction has to be meaningful. All right, and you need to anticipate or know when something's about to happen, not with fear and fright in your body language, but with your action, so that you can get into the dog's brain a little bit and know what he's thinking about. And that's when you correct. If you're waiting until he's lunging, barking, growling, snarling, you're too late. I'm telling you right now. And the problem will continue to progress and become worse because he's going to learn how to beat you and get out and growl and snarl before you have a chance to correct. And now it becomes a battle of wits. You should not be having a battle of wits with your dog. If you are, you've got a problem. Because you're lowering yourself to this dog who can't necessarily think as logically as you can. There's a little thing up here that you can't probably see, but it says, you get the dog you accept. There's another saying that's going around that says, you get the dog that you deserve. That's kind of true. But you also get the dog that you accept. If you accept these behaviors, this aggression, this growling, dog jumping on people when they're greeting them, or sniffing their crotch, or wrapping a leash around their legs, that kind of, you accept that and then correct later on after it's already happened, then you're going to get the dog you accept. The dog you want to have and that you expect is the dog that's obedient and understands that you are in charge. Even if they have this little thing in their head that has aggression attached to it, you want to be under control of that little behavior so that they have second thoughts about doing it because they know you are a leader. All right, so I hope this helps. Again, there's a lot more details. I'm giving you the basic outline. If you want more details on any of the areas, the collars, the timing, that kind of stuff, shoot us an email. Let us know what you think, and we'll get back to you. Let me show you this video really quick before I let you go. It's a dog by the name of Max. Max came to us almost trying to kill me, as the owner was bringing him out of the car. He was growling, snarling, trying to bite me. This very, very aggressive, slobber flying, nose wrinkled, that kind of stuff. As you're watching this video, you're seeing that he's not that way. But I'm telling you, when he came to greet me, and we have plenty of witnesses over here, if you don't believe me because we didn't have our video cameras running, I wish we would have. But this is the example. What you're seeing now is that dog is walking with my children. My children are, at this time, 4 and I think 2.5 or something like that. And what you don't see is aggression. Why don't you see aggression? Well, because the kids are walking with confidence. They have no preconceived ideas that the dog is aggressive. And now this dog, who normally cannot walk around people and other dogs, is doing so, as you see in this video. Only 2 days earlier, that dog was trying to eat me. But as you're watching this video, 2 days after that, I'm giving the dog to children who, again, don't have any preconceived ideas. They don't have any fears. They don't know the dog is aggressive, and they're able to walk in the same environment. This is one example that tells you that whoever is handling a dog is really important. It is important for the dog to feel comfortable, not fearful, and no additional fear put into dogs that are already fearful by the handler, who may be concerned about certain people walking towards them or certain kinds of dogs walking towards them. You have to be a leader if you want any of these things to change. All right, so I hope all this stuff helped. I hope the video helped, and we will talk to you on video blog number 005. All right, talk to you later. Have a great day.